Good afternoon. Okay, our next conference is Teaching English to Students with Special Needs, and this will be held by Adrian Aranguren. Adrian graduated cum laude from the Instituto Pedagógico de Caracas. He has done graduate studies in instructional psychology at the Universidad Central de Venezuela, and he's the academic coordinator at CVA del Centro.
Hello everybody, how are you? Could you please sit a little bit closer? I know that, no, it's not that cold. We're gonna hug each other. Please? Well, I guess that the ones who are backwards don't wanna get cold, right? Yeah, really cool. Okay. Okay, people, so thank you very much for being here. As the lady already said, my name is Adrian Aranguren, and I am the academic coordinator at CVA del Centro. Thank you very much for being here, instead of going to the Galleria, instead of going sightseeing. But, well, I guess that it is important for you to be here because I want you to get advantage of my presentation. This presentation is not going to last too long because I have like 20 or 25 minutes to come up with everything here. But first of all, I would like to say that I decided to talk about students with special needs because we at CVA del Centro are having more and more students with some disabilities. We already know what the situation in Venezuela is. So more and more people want to learn English because they just want to leave the country. And this also includes students with special needs, okay? But before continuing, I think it is very important for me to have an activity with you. And I would like you to take out a piece of paper and think about the word special. I want you to write down as many words as possible related to the word special. I'm going to give you 1 minute to do that. Yes? Is it clear? Yeah, with the word special. Ready? 1 minute, and that's it. 1, 2, 3. Go on. Thirty seconds. Ten seconds. Five seconds. Hurry up. Okay, so stop writing. Well, do you like popcorn? Yes? So when do you usually have popcorn? When you go to the movies, when you watch a movie. So you might be saying right now, what's the connection between special and popcorn and things like that? Well, you're going to see this later on. Well, let's suppose this is a large frying pan. And you are the corn. So what happens when we heat the corn? It pops. Okay, so you're going to become the horn. Sorry, not the horn, the corn, and I'm going to heat. Okay, I'm going to heat you up. So the idea is that anytime you come up with a word related to the word special, you have to pop and then you sit. All right? But remember what the whole process is. At the beginning, you're going to have maybe one corn just popping, and then you're going to have 2, 3, and then everybody at the same time. Yes? Are you ready? Yes? Come on, people, you need energy. I know this is going to be the last presentation, but you have to, to be a little bit hyper today. Okay, so I'm going to count up to 3, and then you start popping up. I'm going to start heating everything, the pan, okay? So 1, 2, 3. No, you're not going to say pop. You have to say a word related to special. I didn't say that. I'm sorry.
Different.
Unique. Wonderful.
Never.
Individual. Outstanding.
Train.
Nice.
Train teacher.
What?
Technology.
No more?
Materials. Braille.
Once in a lifetime.
Okay, let's do it again. Okay? Because at the beginning, only 1 or 2 just stood up. Okay? But remember that you are the corn. Yes? 1, 2, 3. Go on.
Special. Different.
Individual. Unique. Happy.
Better.
Outstanding.
Extraordinary. Worse.
Okay, people, very good. That was nice. So, what do you think I was doing right now? Breaking the ice? Yeah. But this is also a different strategy for you to teach to your students when you want them to review vocabulary, okay? Or when you want them to relate a word with a specific word. In this case, we have the word special. Do you have students with special needs in your class?
Yes.
Yeah? For example, who? Could you give us an explanation? Could you speak?
Asperger problem? Yeah. We sometimes have.
Asperger?
Yeah.
Okay. Who else? Blind? You have a blind student? Or you have 2 blind students? Okay. Who else? Well, we've had different students at CBA Centro with special needs. Okay, we've had blind students, autistic students, and the last case we are having right now is one related to a student with Asperger. Okay, her name is Abigail. She is 24 years old. She has problems with socializing with other students. And in some cases, it's very, very difficult for her to get focused on a specific objective or specific strategy. So I remember that one of my teachers stopped by because he had Abigail in class, and he asked me a question, telling me, Adrian, I have Abigail in class, so I don't know what to do with her. And that made me realize and think that sometimes we don't train our teachers when they have special students in class. So I decided to design maybe this part of special needs to the training of teachers, because I think it's very important to deal and to work with students with special needs. So first we come up with a definition of the word I need help? Not working? Okay. Okay. So here we have the word special. Can you read this well?
Yes.
Okay, so special is an adjective, and the simple definition of the word special is, we have different definitions here. So different from what is normal or usual, especially, unusually in a good way, better or more important than others, especially important or loved, and more than is usual. I also decided to look up the word Need. So here we have need is a noun, and the simple definition of need is a situation in which someone or something must do or have something that a person must have, something that is needed in order to live or succeed or be happy, and a strong feeling that you must have or do something. Okay? So, special need. What do you think when we refer to special need? A special approach to be used with our students, maybe? A special strategy? What else?
Different technique.
Different. So when we talk about our students, do we talk about them as a special student, or not? So we call the student special. He's a special person. Yes or no? Why not?
We don't know the person is special until we find the differences.
So, what do you think? Special? So I have a special kid in my class. Is that correct?
No, you are.
I think it depends on the country. For example, in Mexico, I don't think we can call them special.
Why not?
There's a law, something like that.
Yeah, because, well, for me, and that's my opinion, special is something that is not normal. And for me, a student is a normal person, is an individual, he is a human being. But what is special is the way in which we teach that student. The strategy we use should be special. Okay? And I also decided to look up, thank you, to this word in the dictionary, which is education. Okay? So here we have a simple definition of education: the action or process of teaching someone, especially in school, college, or university, the knowledge, skill, and understanding that you get from attending school, college, or university, or a field of study that deals with the methods and the problems of teaching. So I decided to make a combination with the words. So instead of talking about special needs, I think we could also talk about educational needs. Okay? So when we talk about special person, which is not special, is a normal kid, we usually talk about special educational needs. Okay? So be careful, because special is something that is not normal, someone that is extraordinary. And I think that's not the best term to refer to a learner or to a student or to anybody else. Okay? Here we have some myths. I want you to discuss this a little bit. I'm going to give you 1 minute per myth for you to discuss. So here we have myth number 1. You have to be a specialist psychologist or specially trained teacher to know how to teach these learners. What do you think? I'm going to give you 1 minute to discuss this a little bit, starting right now.
Special training, engagement of the students with problems.
30 seconds.
Yeah.
10 seconds. Okay, so let's see. This table, what do you think? Here, somebody from this table? Yes?
Like, you may not be able to, at first you may not be able to identify the person until you start teaching. But once you do, it may be necessary for you, not necessarily to be a psychologist per se, but yet to seek for training on how to deal with that particular condition. Because you may think that you're dealing in the right way, and it may not be the case.
Okay, yes, any other opinion? Let's see here, what do you think?
say is that common sense in a teacher, it's definitely not enough. But you at least need orientation, better if it's training, and even better if you get educated in the field.
Okay. Anybody else? Uh-huh.
Sometimes you might need to ask the student what they need. You might need to ask the student directly what their needs are.
Okay,
They
good.
might be able to tell you.
Yeah, okay, that's nice. So you think you need a special psychologist? Okay, it all depends on the situation. For example, in the case of Abigail, we don't need a specialist, okay, a special psychologist. But what we need is to have someone specialized on Asperger to talk to the teachers. So teachers become more sensitive about the situation, okay? But it is not necessary to have a specialist to deal directly with the student, okay? What I mean is that especially could have a session with our teachers to train them about, or to talk to them about students with educational needs, okay? Myth number 2. Other learners in the class make less progress when they're taught with learners with special educational needs. What do you think? I'm going to give you half an hour, 1 hour, 2 hours to discuss about this. No, I'm going to give you 30 seconds. So go on.
Unless it's a very significant
10 seconds.
discapacity. Yeah.
Stop. Okay, so what do you think?
No.
No, why not?
Why not?
Well, it depends on the
Depends on the
teacher.
case, exactly.
Because sometimes they give a lot of attention to that special kid,
Mm-hmm.
and then they don't pay attention to the others. Some of the students even complain about that.
Okay.
If you have a well-trained teacher and the case is not really that serious that requires a special treatment, then the teacher should have the skills to, make the special need not so notorious that the other kids will be entertained or deviated from the attention.
Okay, yes, very good. Somebody else? Uh-huh.
There may be the case that depending on what the condition is, you can prevent by getting an assistant. That way the class may not see the difference between one thing or the other. Like, there's no need to focus all your attention on one person, yet to forget about the rest of the group. It's a group. So that's a matter of strategizing and trying to come up with.
Okay. So, well, what I think is that if you have a very well-planned class, your students are going to benefit from each other. Okay? But what is important here is that you plan the class in such a way that this goes to every single student in your class. So that's the reason why it is so important to take into consideration the approach, the material you use, the audiovisual material you use with your students, okay? Because remember that in some cases, students might learn by looking at the information. Some other students learn by listening to the information. So it is very important for you to plan your class in such a way that everybody understands and they take benefit, okay? So they don't feel like you are just setting apart a group of students and you're not paying attention to everybody at the same time, okay? So if you plan classes in a proper way, just to mention something, this is going to benefit everybody in the class, all right? Myth number 3. Learners with special educational needs cannot learn languages. What do you think? 10 seconds? False. Why? For example, in your case, you had blind students, right? Okay. Did they learn English? Yeah, but the strategy was different. Okay. What about over there?
But there are universities where teachers are
Okay.
exams.
Just to give you an example, there are universities here for people with hearing problems, and they can still learn even a career. So what's the deal? I mean, I don't see it's any different.
Okay, for example, in my own experience, students at Sevilla Centro, we've had blind students, autistic students, and Asperger's students. They do learn English because, in fact, they know how to socialize. They improve their skills. For example, for Abigail, it was very difficult to socialize with each other, with other students. But according to the activities we designed, she was able to interact with other people, so she feels much better in class, okay? And we also find ways to improve our students' skills, language skills, okay? Myth number 4, it takes a lot of extra time and planning. What do you think?
It takes extra planning, not necessarily extra time. But it does.
Extra planning
Extra planning, yes.
On the strategies, maybe.
or strategy?
If you're,
Well, you have the strategy.
setting up the strategy.
But we as teachers usually have a lot of work. So do we have to add something extra when we have a student with special need? Or not? Or we just plan the class for everybody?
It's not a matter of having to, I guess. It's a matter of be willing to. Like, if you don't have to, but if you're committed to what you're doing, you should.
Okay, yes, very good. Who else?
We once had 3 blind students in our classroom who insisted to be part of a normal class. And we tried this. And when the teacher said, it's taking me up too much time. And then we said, okay, they really insisted on being in the same group. So we had an assistant teacher coming in to help them and assist them during the normal class. In the end, we had to change it because it didn't work out.
Okay.
They needed too much extra attention, and it was interfering with the rest of the class. But I must admit,
So what did you do?
3 students, and so we started a class only for black people. But that was the thing they wanted to avoid,
Okay.
but we could not.
Yes?
Sometimes you can even include the rest of the class to participate in activities that make the other person feel part of the whole group, or vice versa. You don't even need to separate the whole thing.
Okay, yes, very good. And the last myth we have here says that a teacher can't fix the learner's problem, so there is nothing I can do. Do you agree or not? Why not?
Always find a solution.
Pay attention to the word fix.
You don't fix.
Do you fix a student? Is a student a device or a machine that needs to be repaired? No, right? So we're going to go around the same topic, the same thing, planning. If you plan, okay, so it is not necessary for you to fix a student. How come you're going to fix a student? That's not valid, okay? So, well, remember about this myth. And here we have some tips for an inclusive classroom. So remember that in our society, we're having more and more different people, different behaviors, and we're working to have a more inclusive classroom. So here we have some different aspects. First, we have see the learner and not the label. See the learner and not the label. We human beings tend to label each other. So sometimes we say that students are different. We say that is a bad student, that is the smartest student in my class, that student is a little bit slow, this student has Asperger, this student has Down syndrome, this student is blind. So we start by labeling, and labeling is not good. So we have to pay attention on the student, on the learner per se, and not on the label. So we should avoid this. Okay? And then we have encourage and use activities which develop empathy and understanding in your classroom at all times. Socializing. In the case of Abigail, it was very difficult for her to socialize with other students, but we designed activities that made her feel comfortable. We at CDA del Centro try to foster values, okay? Values related to special holidays. For example, we worked on values related to solidarity, for example, okay? Group work, also, communication, and so on. And we also talk to teachers on training sessions to create a learning contract where the inclusive rules are clear. So, the motto we use in class is related to helping each other, listening to each other, and understanding that everyone is unique. But we as coordinators have an important role. For example, at this moment I remember what happened in Miami, the terror attack in the disco. We had students come up with a wisdom tree by having the colors of rainbow. So students like to have this kind of activities, and they pay attention to values. So we foster values everywhere. Coaching. Do you have this program in your binational centers? Do you understand coaching?
Like tutoring?
Something similar to tutoring. So for example, when a student has a problem in class, and it is very difficult for the teacher to deal with that student, the teacher sends that student to the academic coordination, and we get another teacher to give that student an individual class to solve the problem the student is facing by that moment. So we focus on grammar, pronunciation, and if the student has some listening problems, we send the student to, what's going on next door? To the English lab, okay? Think carefully about how you give instructions. Do you think this is important when we have a different student in our class or not? Yes? Why? Number 5?
Because if they are not clear for someone that is considered normal, the other one is going to be normal.
Okay, so listen to what I'm going to say right now. I'm going to give you 2 instructions. Okay, instruction number 1. Look at the board. Open your books. Instruction number 2. Before you open the book, look to the board. Which instruction is better? The first one or the second one?
The first.
Why?
It has a sequence.
Excuse me? What did you say? So in some cases, it is very difficult for students to understand instructions. When we have an Asperger's student in our class, we have to be very clear. So we should avoid using these very long sentences. So maybe I could understand that, but another student is not going to understand that. So we have to focus on number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. So step-by-step instructions. Okay, not everything at the same time. Use positive classroom language, so forget about don'ts. Don't do this, don't do that. So use positive or affirmative commands. Use visuals to reinforce rules and routines. In our binational centers, I guess that in all our binational centers in Venezuela, we have the smart boards or the interactive boards. So there is an idea for you to, or you could give your students or talk about the routines they're going to have for the whole class. For example, if we're going to have a listening activity, they could have a look at the drawing of an ear, okay? Listening, reading, they could have a book, speaking, a mouth, and writing, a pen, okay? So we use visual material, or if you don't have a smart board, you could use gestures, okay? So listening, speaking, reading, writing. Because in some cases, students won't get the information until they see the action. For example, in my case, I'm very visual. Some other students need to listen to the information. And that reminds me of something that happened to me a long time ago when I was a student in high school. I had some visual problems. So I decided to sit in the back part of the classroom because I was very shy. And I remember that once the math teacher approached me and she was really angry because she thought I was laughing at her. But I was not laughing at her. The thing is that as I couldn't see very well, my face was like this. And she thought I was laughing at her, but she didn't even give me the chance to give an explanation. So that's the reason why it is very important to talk, communication, okay? And also, when we talk about visuals, we have to know about our students' needs. We have to find out what's going on with a student who fails a course, for example, okay? Think about your learners' needs and have a setting plan. Do you think that classroom management is important here or not? Yes? Why?
Because as the term itself tells you, you're going to be able to deal with it. You're going to be able to manage the whole group problem.
So remember that in some cases, smart students sit with smart students. Smart. Students who misbehave sit together with students who misbehave. So what should we do, for example, if we have a student with visual impairment? Should we sit that student in the back part of the room or quite near to the board? Near to the board, right? Because the student needs to look at the information. Okay, and don't be afraid to ask other people, the parents and other professionals, and above all, the learner. In the case of Abigail, I always paid attention to what she said, and I was in constant communication with her, because I was interested in knowing how she felt in class. I found out that Abigail liked reading a lot. She didn't like to socialize with other students, but now she is more open to talk to people, and she is even more open to receive a hug, which wasn't impossible for her in the past. Okay? So, effective instructional strategies, prevention of academic failure. So why do you think students fail? Could be social factors, social issues. What else?
Lack of interest.
Lack of interest could be. What else?
Teacher not accomplishing the objective of the class.
Mm-hmm. What else?
Maybe they don't have the capacity. Some people don't have the capacity.
Okay, and how do we prevent failure? What should we do
Monitor.
as academic coordinators?
Monitor. You have to monitor the student.
Only the student? So we have to monitor the student and the teacher. The environment is also important. So we should have a positive environment in which students feel comfortable. Okay? A shared knowledge base. What do you think this is related to? No idea? Assessment. Okay, we have to assess our students, we have to assess the program, we have to assess everything. Because depending on the assessment, we're gonna see if we have to make some adjustments or some changes in our curricula. Okay? Academically rich programs. What do you think is a rich program? You foster what?
Different learning abilities. Different learning abilities.
Different learning abilities, social abilities, cultural abilities, etc., etc., etc. Effective instruction, the way in which you plan your classes, okay? Early intervention for struggling learners. So, for example, if you have a student who misbehaves in class, I think it's very important to prevent the student from failing. How? Well, just by talking to the student himself, talking to the teacher, and trying to come up with a plan for that student. Clinical teaching, what do you mean by clinical? Do you understand this? It is also related to prevention, okay? For example, when you teach something, when you reteach the information, and then at the end you see the result. If the result is not good, so then we're talking about clinical teaching, because we're trying to get what the problem is. Teachers helping teachers. This is a program we have in our binational center in which teachers meet on a regular basis. They meet at least once a week to talk about the problems they have in the classroom. So they don't talk to the supervisors, they don't talk to me, but they talk, it is a sort of club, okay? So they get together on Fridays and then they discuss about problems they have in class. And then they come up with the solution, which I think is good. And coaching, I already talked about this, okay? So, well, people, here we have Abigail. I need help. So this is a homemade video. She makes some mistakes when she talks, but at least she delivers, which I think is the important thing. Yes.
My name is Abigail. I like to go to the beach because I love the sun. And I like to read books, romantic books. And I love to watch Keeping Up with the Kardashians. And my favorite color is blue. And I love the song with all my heart. And I love the CBA.
Okay, and why do you love the CBA?
I love the CBA because here I can to speak in English. The teacher helped me with my English.
Okay.
My favorite teacher is Carlos Bora because he is very patient and he speaks very slowly. I like the pumpkin contest and the Christmas contest, and I like to reading in class because for that reason the teacher could check my pronunciation.
Okay, and why do you like the pumpkin contest?
Because it's very entertaining and it's like a festival in the US.
Okay, and why do you like Christmas?
I like Christmas because it's very entertaining too, and because it's lovely.
Okay, good.
I would like to be treated with kindness, with patience, and with love. I would like to be a part of the CBA because I love and I enjoy the environment, and I would like to share and to help in the pumpkin contest and the Christmas contest because it's very lovely.
Okay. Okay, people, so what do you think about Abigail? Isn't she amazing?
She proved that
She delivers. Okay? And for me, I can't avoid getting a little bit emotional when I talk about these kind of students because I know the effort they're making to improve. In the case of Abigail, I know you noticed that she was talking about the pumpkin contest and the Christmas tree contest because she's very good at handicraft. She likes to work a lot and she cooperates with us. In fact, she's going to be leaving us in like 2 months, and she already talked to me last week because she wants to work with us concerning Halloween and Christmas. And I said, yes, of course, because I think that is a good way to integrate students to our community. Here, you're going to see, for example, the pumpkin contest, which was very amazing for Abigail. We had 42 contestants, and Abigail also wanted to participate, and this is the pumpkin she made. In fact, Abigail won the first prize out of 42 students participating. And she also participated on the Christmas tree contest. There we have the contest, and this is the one Abigail came up. So she's very up to, she pays attention to a lot of details, and she gets sometimes focused on a single detail. I remember that for this Christmas tree, she was paying attention to the heart that is on the star. And she spent like 3 hours working on that part of the Christmas tree. Because for her, it was very important, this part of the tree. And she came up with this Christmas tree, and apart from that, she also came up with this. We didn't ask her to do this, but she decided to donate this to the reception. So in some cases, other students don't do this, but Abigail did, which I think is very important. Okay? So remember that integrating students to our rooms, being assertive to our students, and depending on the strategies we use and the way in which we communicate with those students, this must be or should be beneficial to all of them. Okay? So, any comments? I said I was going to last half an hour, but I took 45 minutes actually. So, well, people, do you have any questions?
I don't have a question, but I would like to share a student we had, and we contacted the parents, and the parents were of great help to us, and with indicating how to focus on the problem.
Mm-hmm.
So that was very helpful for us.
Any other comment?
Just wanted to know which level.
Abigail is in level 13, so she reached an upper intermediate level. Mm-hmm. So far, yes. Somebody else? No? Well, people, I guess that's everything. So thank you very much for being here. Thank you very much for being understanding. And remember that we are changing lives, but our students are also changing ours. Okay? So, well, thank you.
On behalf of ABLA 2016, we thank you very much for your participation, and we're going to give you a diploma and a Mexican plate from Tlaquepaque.